Today I want to talk about hunting rares in Tanaan, but before I dive into that, I want to briefly address Cory Stockton's interview with Mammy Twink that was released late last week. In case you missed it, I highly recommend you check it out. It's 34 minutes of pure stupidity, and ultimately, the last insult I could stomach from Blizzard Entertainment. A few days later, after having some time to fully absorb Cory's interview, I decided to cancel my WoW subscription. My game time officially expires on July 24th. If you're unaware, Cory Stockton has been WoW's lead content designer since Cataclysm. WoW Wiki says he's responsible for overseeing the design and implementation of all exterior zones. That's one of the few positive things people have given WoD credit for. The maps look absolutely beautiful. Let's look at the rest of Cory's responsibilities. He oversees dungeon designs, which we all know have been steadily shrinking in number since Wrath. He works on battlegrounds and arenas, which we didn't get any of in Warlords. He works on city designs, or so he claims. Some of Azeroth's capital cities were turned into fully fleshed out 3D models in Cata, but they weren't drastically redesigned. Mop gave us tiny carbon copy shrines to call home, and Warlords gave us our pathetic Ashran campgrounds. At this rate, I don't expect capital cities to even exist in the next expansion. Way to slowly phase out an integral part of the game, man. Cory also worked on the guild leveling system, which was later removed from the game because it was a total failure. He was heavily involved in garrisons, which he strangely promotes with a sense of pride for some reason, even after all we've experienced. And he's also a big champion of the shipyards, which are an absolute joke. I'll give him some credit for managing the pet battle system well, but honestly, that's a side game that shouldn't be one of his biggest and best accomplishments. Overall, I'd say WoW's lead content designer is doing a fairly shit job of maintaining Warcraft's longevity. Anyway, what really set me off about Cory's interview was the official acknowledgement that 6.2 would be the final patch for Warlords of Draenor. He said it in a real wish-washy way, but it confirmed what I've been dreading for months now, that WoW's expansions are being fast-tracked with less content per pack in order to milk the player base for more money. It's a crooked cash grab, plain and simple. There's not enough value to justify the cost, in my opinion, so I'm no longer interested in playing World of Warcraft. Meanwhile, Cory Stockton is a clueless dimwit, and I'm not just saying that to be mean. Let me prove it to you with a quick little history lesson. Ian Hazzikostas gave an interview with Polygon, a third-party website that was released on May 22nd, 2015, the Friday just before an extended Memorial Day weekend. In that interview, Ian said there wouldn't be any flight in WoD or future expansions. This announcement was big news and caused a huge uproar within the Warcraft community. And of course, no Blizzard employees were immediately available to address player concerns because they were all on vacation. Cory Stockton gave an interview with Mammy Twink, a third-party website, that was released on July 2nd, 2015, Thursday just before an extended 4th of July weekend. In that interview, Cory confirmed the big news that 6.2 would be the final patch for WoD. Do you see where I'm going with this? It had the same destructive results within the WoW community. Cory stupidly made the exact same mistake Ian did. At least Ian had the foresight to fix his mistake by organizing a Q&A. Cory just shut his trap and pretended the shit didn't happen. Also, let's not forget that Ian publicly admitted that 6.1 wasn't a proper patch, yet lead content designer Cory Stockton claims it was. Is Cory so out of touch that he doesn't even pay attention to what his colleagues are saying? How can you be so fucking oblivious and still keep your job? With his head in the sand, it's no wonder Warlord sucks so hard. One good thing came from the Mammy Twink interview, though, and that's an explanation as to why hunting rares doesn't exactly work in Tanaan, which is a perfect segue to help us dive into the actual subject I wanted to talk about today. First, you have a bunch of rares in Tanaan, but most of them are garbage. Only a small handful are worth going out of your way to kill more than once. Doomroller, Terror Fist, Vengeance, and Death Talon. These rares have a slim chance to drop a Medallion of the Legion, or a Rattling Iron Cage. The Medallion increases your reputation with all Draenor factions by 1,000 points. This is quite helpful since grinding rep the original way is a black hole of boredom. And the Rattling Cage contains mounts, which aren't special in the slightest, but hey, even shitty recolors help increase your collection numbers. At least there are various achievements and rewards linked to that activity. But here's one of the biggest problems I didn't understand at first. I could be right next to a spawn point, hear the spawn announcement, but not even see the rare pop. I'd also see other people talking in general chat saying stuff like Doom Roller's up, but nothing was there. I just assumed they were trolling, only it turns out there's a ton of phasing in Tanaan Jungle. When I first heard about this phasing, I didn't believe it. After all, there are no fucking quests in Tanaan, no map-altering progression, so how or why would the jungle be phased? Well, Cory explained it best in his interview. He said Blizzard is running multiple versions of Tanaan Jungle all at once, and different players are actively seeing different phases because they're on different shards. Yet the rare spawn alerts are spreading across all shards at all times. The division of players into shards was intended to reduce stress on the servers, so the servers don't overheat and explode. In the future, this problem should simply work itself out. The number of necessary shards will reduce as active subscription numbers drop to 0. Of course, Blizzard released Tanaan in its current broken, buggy form because they were competing with the launch date of Final Fantasy XIV's Heaven's Ward. I said it before and I'll say it again. If Blizzard would focus on producing quality content, it wouldn't be necessary for them to attack the gaming market so aggressively. Stop concentrating on underhanded marketing tactics and design a game people actually want to play. The audience will gravitate toward you if you give them a good reason to. So when I do happen to see one of these 4 coveted rares in Tanaan, I run into a whole other problem. Toxic player interaction. Overall, the system creates a really negative environment, and it turns players against one another. You'll see this nonsense play out in general chat every day. Please, don't attack that rare yet. I'm almost there. Blame Player X if you can't get here in time. He's the stupid asshole who pulled the rare. Hey, fuck you, man. Don't get mad at me for playing the fucking game. Stop DPSing so fast, you dicks. Give other players a chance to get here. The bickering is out of control, and the game suffers for it. If I DPS too fast, I'm a jerk. If I only tag the target once and then sit by the sidelines, I'm not having any fun. And I'm also not helping to take down the rare, so I look like a lazy sponge. I'm damned if I do, damned if I don't. And if you try to bypass the randomness and form a proper group with the looking for group tool, you've got to spam the shit out of that system, because those groups are formed and filled in less than 10 seconds. The system doesn't work well with what we're being asked to do here. The Timeless Isle barely worked in this regard, and it was much, much smaller, so it was easier to get around quicker. Again, I'm not sure why Blizzard didn't learn anything from past experience. If I was in charge, this is how I would have designed rare hunting in Tanaan. When you arrive in Volmar, you're told about all the important rares in the jungle. For example, one of the soldiers can say, "Intelligence reports tell us the Iron Horde is crafting a devastating new class of tank known as a Doom Roller. They're building these vehicles within Hellfire Citadel. We need to destroy these machines as soon as they exit the building. Otherwise, they could cause great devastation to our base of operations here at Volmar." Then, a military engineer can tell you about his latest invention, a zone-wide radio alert system. In a series of quests, you have to erect 4 radio towers across Tanaan Jungle. Once these towers are built, you'll receive a buff that lets you know your radio is working. The radio can then alert players to suspicious activities at the front gates of the Citadel. That's your warning to haul ass to Doom Roller spawn point, because the enemy is spawning in 60 seconds. With enough advanced warning, players would have only themselves to blame for not being able to reach the rare spawn points in time. And players engaged in battles wouldn't feel the need to hold back. They could enjoy the fights to their fullest potential, 100% guilt-free. Blizzard could also have the Iron Horde regularly attack our radio towers, creating zone-wide events where players need to band together in order to keep their radios functional. Changes like this would promote cooperation, and providing activities of this nature would actually help strengthen community bonds. It would make the world feel alive, and dare I say savage, the notorious buzzword of this entire expansion. J. Allen Brack once said the WoW team has never been more forward-thinking about the types of things they can do with World of Warcraft. I stupidly assumed that meant innovation was on the horizon. I guess creativity peaked in patch 5.4 with the release of Timeless Isle, because aside from Apexis daily grinds, that's all Tanaan Jungle is, hunting rares on Timeless Isle 2.0. It's bigger, but not better. I guess from September 10th, 2013 to now wasn't enough time for Blizzard to craft any solid new content. Perhaps I wouldn't be so critical, though, if I wasn't overhyped by the company itself. They should probably stop trying to sell players on ideas they either can't or won't deliver. Anyway, that's all I've got for today. Because my account expires on the 24th of this month, I think I'm going to cut my Tanaan Jungle review a bit shorter than I originally planned. I was going to talk about the world boss, flight paths, and so on, But I'll end things in part 5 with my thoughts on Apexis dailies and why they don't work. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Later.